Monsters 2 is Gareth Edwards' follow-up to his 2010 film, Monsters. Like the original Monsters, this one involves giant creatures that attack people on Earth, and we see very little of them. With a title like Monsters, you would expect to see lots of monsters, but instead we get lots of people. But with this being the follow-up to Monsters, Monsters 2, what can you expect?
Guys, y'all didn't watch Monsters 2. You watched Godzilla.
Oh.
That wasn't Monsters 2. That was Godzilla?
Godzilla?
That was...
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
It was. Well, I said it in 98, I'll say it again now. Worst part about this movie is that it's called Godzilla. What'd you think?
This movie was a big fat pile of...
So yeah, I came prepared. I got my little Godzilla cup.
Godzilla 1998?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is. No, look, I love this glass because
I still got the
it
peel
has
off.
it has the pill off. And I think that one was free fries and that was a free Big Mac.
No, because these are Taco Bell. We're gonna start out with some spoiler-free review. This Godzilla was better.
McDonald's, Taco Bell, either way you got diarrhea. And you got it for free.
Taco Bell is better than McDonald's. 1998's Godzilla is better than 2014's Godzilla.
It truly is. Holy smokes. This movie was phenomenally, fantastically, a whole bunch of other F-similes that just, this movie was garbage. Hot, stinking garbage.
If it hadn't have been called Godzilla...
It wouldn't have even been a good movie. Now, see, that's where we've had this conversation.
No, I
already.
agree. It's not a great movie at all.
It's,
but I would have been disappointed.
This movie...
I would have went and saw it and be like, I won't ever watch it again.
I could have saw it on Netflix and thought, I don't have to watch this whole movie. Let's watch more Supernatural. Or whatever I'm watching right now. This movie was garbage. Hot,
disappointing.
stinking garbage. Very disappointing. If you go watch it, and God bless you if you like it. I mean, I'm usually the guy
Lots of people do.
No, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm usually the guy that likes everything. Everything's entertaining to some point and degree. Him and I disagree on Spider-Man, a few other movies, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy that he agrees that this is a bad movie because that validates me thinking it's a bad movie because it's a bad movie.
They did everything wrong in this movie. It's the most likable characters not in the whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in spoiler territory. This movie suffers from what I called transformeritis. We went to see a movie about a giant lizard kicking butt and taking names, and we got a movie with very little giant lizard.
Very little.
And a lot of...
Well, towards the end it got a little bit better, but...
It's still teasing. It's...
When we sat there and talked about it, we've already been spoiled. Cloverfield kind of did the same with, not showing the monster as much.
Yeah, but that was made like that.
That fit that
Transformers,
movie.
you go to see a movie about Transformers tearing people up, other Transformers up.
Yeah.
Fighting and everything. And instead, we get all these people.
Yeah.
That we don't care about.
Yeah.
This movie it's not even the fact that they have all these characters, which all the Godzillas do. It's the fact that you get to the part where Godzilla shows up and the monsters that he's fighting is there, and you're like, this is going to be awesome. And they cut away.
Cut to some other like sideline bullcrap story about the main character.
And then when they cut back, the fight's over.
Yeah.
And they don't do that once. They do it 2-3 times.
2-3 times. 3 times.
And even in the climactic battle, when
It wasn't even all that.
It wasn't all that because they kept cutting away when they're fighting
Yeah.
to show what's going on with the people.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
Why? When we've already been spoiled by movies that has action-packedness with
Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim was a almost perfect.
Great,
What could have been
super
Godzilla
busy,
movie, yeah.
super busy movie, but it was great because there was action. We went to go watch Godzilla and we saw a long Hallmark commercial of a guy who served in the military, gets home, has to go
He's our main
help his dad.
protagonist.
The main protagonist has to go
Who's
save his dad. So he gets home from the military, goes to Japan to bail his dad out, and then tries to get back home.
Yeah,
That's what the movie's about.
and he is the most uncharismatic. Ryan Gosling wannabe. He just wants to be Ryan Gosling, and from Drive, and
Oh, that's who Ryan Gosling is.
yeah, and you just don't care about him.
No.
The best.
You know what? And it's very transformery because you see plenty of Transformers action throughout 3 movies, but it cuts to these Godzilla and these bat creatures, not Mothra, but these bat-like creatures, and they're about to fight, and they get like one good punch in.
One's a male that can fly. That's
One is a
And
male bat that can fly, and the
other
female is
one
like
is-
way larger.
who's like
It's got all the eggs.
got all the eggs,
But
which we'll get. We're doing a spoiler-free review. We're gonna get into these spoilers in a minute. I mean, the monster was basically the Cloverfield monster.
yeah. So, anyways, they start throwing punches, and then it cuts out to something that's going on with the human characters, which is
Yeah.
bogus. Lost my train of thought because I was going somewhere with that. What else did they do that with? World War Z. Oh my goodness! This is a movie about zombies, and you're talking about the main protagonist, the Ryan Gosling wannabe guy. He is about as charismatic as Brad Pitt, and then all his co-workers / co-stars. I mean, they're trying to put in a big story, a big personal story of these people, so that you get feelings about these people, and they do that, but you don't get any. It's just bunk ass filler. That's all it is. Just like World War Z, you're trying to care about this guy, you're trying to care about his family, and trying to. This movie goes back to the soldier who was a bomb disposal guy, gets out of the military, goes to see his family. His son asks him, "Hey, you're here for good now?" "No, I'm going to go to Japan now
You're
and
gonna
bail
be
out
here
my
tomorrow,
dad."
right?
God. Anyways.
Yeah. That's our review.
It's
Disappointing.
extremely disappointing for what
There's
it
a lot
could
of
have
people
been.
that like it. I can't figure it out. I feel like I need to watch it again just to see, but
And it's been a millennia
This
since
is-
I've seen original Godzilla. But I'm guessing in the original Godzilla,
I'm all about Godzilla.
the
I
first few
love
Godzillas. There was
Godzilla
plenty
movies.
of Godzilla action in it.
Yeah, I mean, and there are some where, yeah, he doesn't show up till later on in the movie. It's all about the other monster stuff. But this is the reboot of Godzilla.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. They did it wrong. I was disappointed. This was one of 2 of my most anticipated films this year. Big letdown. This
Huh. That's what you get for hating a few of the movies that I liked here lately.
Eh.
Punk.
So anyway, spoilers.
Oh yeah, this is a spoiler section. This we're gonna go really deep into.
The main character that you like, human character, Malcolm's dad,
Who's just played by
Bryan Cranston,
Bryan Cranston, great actor.
also from Drive.
Oh, nice.
He's in the movie 15 minutes, and then he's killed. And you're left with Ryan Gosling wannabe, who you can't get emotionally attached to.
It's very vague of what he finds out. He's working in Japan at a nuclear power plant, and they notice some seismic activity, and it's kind of out of the ordinary. He's found something weird, but they're not really saying. You find out it's seismic activity, and it all comes to a big climax when the power plant bursts into flames, or no, it crumbles. It basically an earthquake tears it down.
It starts leaking radiation. His wife gets trapped down in the basement.
Sacrifices herself so that nuclear.
He feels guilty for it because he's the one that sent her down in there. Check it out. When this all happens, and they get evacuated, and the whole area is held, and it's quarantined.
Yeah.
And
15 years later.
15 years later, he's still trying to figure out what happened. His son has moved on, has a family, in the military, just gets home. And this is where we were talking about his kid is like, Dad, are you going to be here tomorrow? Because he's been deployed for 14 months. And he's like, yeah, I'll be here. And then he gets a phone call, Dad's in jail in Japan. Immediately goes and packs up stuff.
Immediately.
Wife is okay with this. She's cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, what?
That's a good woman right there.
I mean,
he just got home.
You want some character development? There should be like a
he should
argument there or something. But there's not.
Or
enough.
at least stay the night.
I'm cool. Go.
At least stay the night.
I'd be like, Dad, I'm sorry. You're gonna sit there for a couple of days. I just got home. And no, he goes to Japan, gets there like that next morning Japan time, bails him out, gets to his apartment where it looks like the serial killer from Seven. Got all these newspaper clippings and stuff. And,
yeah.
I mean,
he was arrested for trying to get back into the quarantine zone that was the nuclear power plant. He
trespassed. He's trying to get back to his old house because he had all these notes and data on zip drives. And so he convinces his son to go back with him. And they get busted, caught there.
Yeah.
And instead of taken back to the police station, they get taken to where the power plant was, where there's all this construction going on, and there's a giant toenail that's being held there with all this EMP
pulsing out of it.
Yeah,
and they're all set up ground zero.
It's like a velociraptor claw with LEDs. And they're like, oh, what is all this? And they realize, listening to Bryan Cranston, that this is the same stuff that happened 15 years ago.
Yeah. So, you have a quarantine zone full of nuclear fallout that's poisonous to everybody. They break in. He's got a Geiger meter with him. Mm-hmm. Doesn't read any radiation whatsoever. Takes his mask off. His son says, Dad, what are you doing? You're going to die. He's like, dude, there's no radiation here. So this monster's sucking it.
Yeah, this giant toenail sucks up all the radiation.
This monster's doing the world a favor.
Yeah. We're going someplace with this. So bear with us. So this cocoon toenail sucks up all the radiation, cleans up the area, but they realize it releases EMP pulses, and they're like, okay, kill it. So they kill it, but they don't. And out of it comes this giant bat, whatever you want to call it, Cloverfield
bat Mothra
thing. What's the monster that's like a pterodactyl? Not Ghidorah. Where is it, Ghidorah? I don't know. I didn't research before I did this. I like Godzilla, but I can't keep all the monsters straight. Ghidorah, Mothra, Mechagodzilla.
Benicio del Toro is one of them.
Yeah. Chevy Chase. So anyway, they all hell breaks loose. The monsters lose. It's tearing stuff up. Bryan Cranston gets loose because the MP unlocks his door. Son gets loose from where he's at, and they have a heart-to-heart cross, and Bryan Cranston's up on a catwalk, and he goes down Captain Kirk style.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, the catwalk gets torn down by a crane that's holding some cables, and anyways, monster breaks free
and leaves. Japanese scientist, the main Japanese scientist dude, he's the one that's been studying this thing because he's been studying forever about Godzilla. They know about Godzilla. They talked about Godzilla dying back in the 1950s, whatever, 40s.
Oh yeah, when they were doing, you've seen the footage to the Bikini Islands, the testing, the Bikini Atolls, where they did all the nuclear testing. They had a bunch of old nuclear footage, and the Bikini Islands is where they first tested like a few of the atom bombs that they were making back in the day.
But they weren't testing; they were trying to kill them.
And on the side of one of the atom bombs that was up on a tower was a picture of Godzilla with the spikes out of his back and a big circle with the... It was like a Ghostbusters, anti-Godzilla. And that was the bomb that was going to kill these big monsters.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
So he's been trying to find them since then. So monster escapes. Bryan Cranston gets knocked off bridge. Scientist takes them, son and father, with them. Bryan Cranston dies while laying on the stretcher.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
And so he's all like...
Oh, he survived that. Yeah, I forgot.
He survived it, and they had a little moment, and he has his death scene, and he dies, and I'm just like... And that's why he had "and" in front of his name in the opening credits. I saw that, and I was like, and Bryan Cranston? And? But he's all over the trailers.
Yeah.
But no, it's all about that. Okay, and so cut to this monster ends up in Hawaii.
Because why was he going to Hawaii?
He drug a nuclear sub out of the ocean.
That's what it was. They were in the Pacific Ocean, and the monster drags a nuclear-powered submarine out of the water, parks it in the middle of an island, and he's like ripping out the nuclear reactors, which I guess in submarines they're these big torpedo-looking things. I don't know what they look like in real life, but he was pulling out these canisters. Well, yeah,
So it drug a submarine from out of the ocean all the way to the middle of Hawaii in the jungle, and it's just eating the radiation out of it. And the army finds it and everything, and that's when Godzilla shows up.
Yeah.
Why did Godzilla show up?
Because
to restore balance.
It's his job.
It's his job.
It's his job as a full-fledged Master Jedi to restore balance to the Force. And when these monsters come about, that's when Godzilla comes, because he's got to kill these monsters. That's his whole MO. I don't know if it works.
That's
for
what the movie says, basically.
Yeah. Is that what the original Godzillas are about? Really?
No.
What?
The original Godzilla was a monster that was created from the radiation, who grew and attacked Tokyo and destroyed it, and they killed him at the end.
Okay.
With hydrogen.
So Godzilla in this movie is a big fat monster hitman. He's not.
In later Godzilla movies, Godzilla would fight other monsters and save the city, kind of, but. They go through different phases. There's like 30-something Godzilla movies.
And this one, these monsters didn't... And you know what the crazy thing about it is? This stupid-ass movie. They didn't care about humans. I mean, they stepped on them, yeah, so what? but they were just after radiation. That's what they ate, and they wanted to procreate. There was a big bat monster, there was a female bat monster, and they wanted to make some babies. And Godzilla said he wasn't having it. The monsters weren't attacking people for sustenance. They ate nuclear.
Yeah. They were cleaning up the environment, basically. These two monsters were the good guys.
Yeah.
We just were in the way. We were the parasites on the earth in the way. They were doing their thing. They were here first.
Because according to the movie, years and years and years and millions of years ago, the big giant monsters roamed the earth and they fed off the radiation because the earth was newer and there was more radiation around in the primordial earth.
And then they had to dig down towards
And
the
then
core.
when, of course, everything subsided, all the radiation goes to the core of the planet, which that's where it came from in the first place, but it dies down on the surface. So they bored down into the earth to get closer to the radiation without swimming in magma.
I don't know. I mean,
This movie sucked balls. It did.
So then you got this other monster, which they're like, there's another one. I don't remember. How did they figure out there's another one? They were like,
Oh,
where's
they were
the
talking.
large-
They were talking to each other.
Oh yeah, they were
Through
talking.
seismic
So
activity.
it's talking to something else. And they were like, well, where's the largest storage facility of nuclear waste? And it's in Nevada. And
The
so
nuclear waste
this is your
depository.
part where they're all checking
Oh.
all the lockers in the
Dude,
vault.
there's these big, humongous, big round doors, and they're like, slide! And they look, and like there's barrels and like
They're making
bricks.
sure the nuclear waste is still in there, running through these giant bunkers.
slide, and they check they check quite a few metric ass loads of this stuff, and it's all there. And they open one, and they're like, "There's light," and they're like, "Oh, guys, get over here!" And they open the door, and the whole side of the mountain's gone. The whole side of the light they saw was the sun shining. The whole side of the mountain's gone with it. They're buried deep into, and there's like a bigger bat monster that was the female that had the eggs.
Yeah.
And she takes off in search of
More nuclear waste.
more radioactive nuclear waste
Over eggs.
for her eggs. She just left the biggest, and she only had maybe, in all
She
honesty,
ate one room's worth.
maybe a couple rooms, because it was a big side of the mountain was gone. But there was plenty more behind her. They were checking. There was plenty more.
Why would she leave there?
And she leaves
I can
just to
understand
go
if
walk
she's-
through. No, she
The
just.
bell was calling her.
Yeah, but
But she needed. Why didn't
if the
she?
male was calling her,
That's classic.
why would the male not just come there where they have an unlimited supply of food?
Because that monster was a player.
I guess.
He'd be like, nah, the bitches come to me. Get your ass over here, girl. But I got food right. No, get your ass over here. I got a present for you.
I got a
And-
submarine over here.
And then he
Check
goes
this out.
and he gives her.
I jag it all the way in the jungle.
That's
Jungle
very,
love.
That's very Mitch Hedbergy.
I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too.
The female monster.
So now you know there's the male monster, pterodactyl, Cloverfield flying
yeah.
thing. And then there's walking Cloverfield with eggs. And then the thing is,
Bat Mothra. Bat Mothra is the name now.
on Hawaii,
Well, the Bat Mothra mama wanted to leave the restaurant to go strolling through Las Vegas so we could just see Las Vegas tore up a little bit.
the aftermath.
A lot, actually. Oh yeah,
here's-
the aftermath.
Here's the thing though, the whole thing on Hawaii with the submarine, Bryan Cranston dies. Okay, that's where I'm just like,
I don't even like him in this movie.
all right, well, I did, but I was like, all right, so I don't have crazy meth cook searching for the cause of his wife's death. Okay, but at least I got Godzilla to look forward to. Hawaii show happens, and this is it. Epic scene. Godzilla's standing up out of the waters, and his sheer size sucks the water back.
Oh, in Hawaii.
And it causes a tsunami. Waves coming because he's so huge and massive. And he gets into the city. And here's the monster The monster sees him, and then Godzilla, it finally pans up to him, and he roars. Monsters
This
go at
is
each other.
the money shot. You're like, yes.
And cut away to kid on a couch laying there. I'm like, well, okay, they're gonna cut back to it. Yeah. Mom's all like doing laundry in the background.
Oh, but what is the kid on the couch doing?
The kid on the couch looks at the TV, and we're watching this awesome battle on a screen that big in the background while Mom's doing laundry, talking to kid, and kid's all like, huh? And I'm
Mommy,
like,
dinosaurs! And there's
I'm
this
like-
big epic battle that's being shown as a
it
newscast.
looks really awesome.
But we should be
really
watching it in
small.
the
Like, I wish I
movie.
had binoculars to be able to see this battle going on this TV.
So, Nevada happens
Back in Nevada.
back in Nevada.
Oh,
Nevada, not Nevada. Las Vegas, the...
Cloverfield monster.
No.
No?
Bat Mothra goes
Mothra.
for a walk through Las Vegas, tears down the MGM and the Mirage, and
But you never get to see it.
you never see it really happen.
No, it cuts away.
Oh,
No, you got this monster coming in there. All this cool stuff's gonna happen, and it's all like all. And no, you don't get to see all this great thing. You get to see these coin slot things going on, and people going ah, and then it cuts away, and then all of a sudden. San Francisco, the final battle. You get all this cool stuff going on, and then, you know, there's the Golden Gate Bridge. Godzilla shows up, and there's no water sucking away this time. But there's a great big battle, 3 monsters, and what do when the battle just is about to start and get good? They cut away to Shia LaDouche chasing
wrong movie.
Starscream.
Wrong movie. Wrong movie.
Hey, Optimus Prime is tangled up in
That's Transformers.
Godzilla is tangled up in Golden Gate Bridge. No,
That's Harry Potter.
they cut away to people talking and looking and staring and running, and it's all this cool stuff that you think you're gonna get to see, but no, you get to see just a bunch of cut away. And is that what I came to see? No, that is not what I came to see. I came to see the most emotional characters in this movie are the 2 villains, the 2 monsters that are the bad guys.
Okay,
They're-
let's talk about the bad guys. No, let's talk about the bad guys in
they're-
this movie.
Are they bad?
They don't go after people to eat them.
No.
And they're just interested in nuclear power.
They are sucking up radiation from the earth.
Yeah.
They're cleaning up the earth.
They're basically
They're going green.
they're basically going to end the world's threat of nuclear bombing.
Yeah.
That's exact. They're the saviors of this movie.
They're chasing all nuclear.
They don't care about humans.
material.
They don't care about. I mean, they step on
Eating
stuff
them
because they're
up.
huge.
Cleaning up radiation quarantine zones.
Yeah. Why are they
Why are they the bad guys?
Why this was in Japan and not
And
Chernobyl?
they're just trying to get it on. They just want to,
Everybody
have their
needs a
babies.
little love.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Okay, these 2 monsters bred from toenails, cocoons, but yet this big mama, you call it Bat Mothra. This one didn't have wings.
Bat
So this
Mothra.
is this one's
It was still a
Cloverfield
bat.
with a Cylon head,
Thank you for that.
and
They had Cylon eyeballs on both sides.
yeah. The most emotional scene once Bryan Cranston's gone is these two monsters finding
when
each
they
other.
meet each other,
Yeah.
the Bat Mothra Senior gives Mr. Bat Mothra gives Mrs. Bat Mothra
A little kiss on the forehead.
a kiss on the forehead, like a little Eskimo kiss, and they're like, "Oh, I love you."
Yeah.
And then like he's like, "Oh, by the way, I got you some lunch. Check it out. It's a nuclear warhead."
Yeah.
And she's like, "This is plenty for my babies," which never really explains. I mean, they're almost human
Yeah, so
size.
they come from cocoons, but yet when they breed, they lay eggs. But yet it took.
Well, no,
fif- it
because
took-
they lay dormant.
But it takes 15 years for them to hatch.
Yeah.
Which our Ryan Gosling hero
Yeah.
sees all these eggs and he blows them up
Yeah.
big time with a tanker
A tanker,
trailer full of gasoline.
fuel tanker.
That the explosion is Hiroshima style almost.
It almost
It was
is.
big explosion.
It was a big explosion.
But he wipes out all the eggs because they're gonna hatch. I'm like, you got like, dude, 1/6 of a century before they hatch. You got
Well,
time.
maybe not, because it doesn't explain. Maybe they were human-sized Bat Mothras.
But the thing is, I mean, these two creatures,
This movie has no logic whatsoever.
why is
People are afraid of these monsters, and rightfully so. They're messing stuff up, but they're not after human. They're not like feeding on human beings.
no, they're not. They never try to attack a human except for when
When
they
they're
try
shooting,
to.
they're being shot at.
Barely. Then they defend themselves, but the only time they go after a human is when they are trying to protect their babies.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Were they just walking down the street, or were they fighting with Godzilla when there was like a helicopter like shooting at them? They're like, who cares about you? We're not here for you. We're here for your
Yeah.
nuclear waste.
And the thing is, Godzilla is chasing them. The whole on a little screen of news footage, you see Godzilla and the thing fighting and chasing it into the ocean, and so there's all these ships following along with Godzilla. Dun, 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 dun. And Godzilla's all like, whatever. And you
Yeah.
guys can hang out. Follow me. And he's chasing them to San Francisco to keep balance, I guess. I mean, that's the whole thing of Godzilla. He is born to keep balance of something.
I want to say the actor's name was one. Reading it looks like Wantabe, but I'm pretty sure it's Wantabe or something like that. Some Japanese.
Wanabe.
It looks like Wantabe, but it's Wantabe or something. Wantabe.
I think it's
Anyways.
Wanabe.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
He is on Godzilla's side. He's like, no, we don't need to kill Godzilla. He
No,
is here to.
we need to let them fight.
We need to let them fight.
and
we need to let them have a shitty fight.
the army's wanting to lure the things out into the ocean and launch and blow them up with a nuclear bomb. And he's all like, we've already tried that. And it's like, no, you tried it with a megaton. This is a kiloton. Remember that. Kiloton bomb. We're going to blow them up with that. The reason I say remember that, we'll get to it. But, yeah, he's all like, you just let them fight.
Let them fight. Let them fight their shitty fight in the shitty.
With the cuttlefish
With the cuttlefish.
and asparagus.
They have their big epic fight. And finally we get to
Kinda.
see. Finally we get to
We
see
kinda
the
see it.
money shot of the movie. Godzilla takes on two Bat Mothras. And they're stabbing them with their claws, and he's getting his ass beat. He gets the one up on one, and the other one comes in tag team style, and they're stabbing him, but they're just like poking him. So he's like, and there's no blood, there's no puncture. He gets up and he's like, oh man, I don't feel good. You guys messed me up.
I'm going to take a nap.
Egg explosion, boom, distracts the mother, Mrs. Bat Mothra. She goes to check it out. Godzilla finally has him, the Mr. Bat Mothra, by himself.
Yeah.
And one of the, I would
One,
say,
one of
good
Godzilla's
scenes,
signature moves is
Signatures
to
moves
hit
is
something
the
with the
light.
tail.
hit
And
with the
he
tail.
smashes Daddy.
Oh, so he didn't use his lightning.
No,
he
no.
didn't use his fire lightning bolt.
He
His
used
plasma.
did he already use it?
Not on the male bat.
No, he smashes Mel Bathra
Oh,
with his tail.
Bathra.
And then he's got...
He smashes Mr. Bat Mothra into a building, and he's all impaled with I-beams and whatnot, and he's like, oh, and Godzilla looks at him and says, ooh, that was a good fight. You whooped my ass, but I got you. And he smashes him into a building that's like just a little bit taller than Godzilla, and the building goes, and Godzilla looks at it, he's like,
it's like Charlie Chaplin. He's like, I'm not going to fit through that window.
Yeah. He's sitting there looking at it, he's like, fuck my life, and the building falls on top of him, and he's like, oh. And they're like, oh no.
You're right, he did do the fireball before that, shooting at him.
Yeah.
The fire breath.
But that was good. That was nice to watch the spikes up his back glow, and then he opens his mouth.
Yeah. But after that's when he the building falls on. And so he's like, nap time.
Yeah.
He takes like 2 naps.
He's beat.
3 total.
He's had a tough day. This movie was so crappily crapped.
But
crappily made.
So there's that nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Still.
Oh, and they're either gonna it's dead center of the
Ryan
city.
Gosling wannabes. He's the EOD. He's the guy that can disable bombs. That's his whole thing that they keep talking about through this whole movie. And he gets to go on this mission with them to disable this bomb. And he's like, it'll take me 60 seconds. They find the bomb, and they can't pry the metal off of it. They're like,
they don't even try. They're just like,
yeah. They're like, there's like 12 of them there. I mean,
well, we
rebar
might as well
around.
get underneath it and drag it to a boat.
Drag it to a boat and take it out to the ocean.
And they do it Batman style.
They light it up.
They light it up. Hey, Godzilla, light it up.
Impossible.
He's got 5 minutes to disarm the bomb and get
Yeah,
away.
he's got 5 minutes. This is
He's got
kiloton.
5 minutes to get a multi-kiloton blast producing nuclear warhead 20 miles out to sea, 15 or 20 miles out to sea, and he does it in 5 minutes. And not once did someone not once did someone say, "Hey, on our way lugging this, let's go ahead and like grab a crowbar, or there's something in this road that we can pry this lid off of." They didn't even try to make it interesting, like say, you know, the lid is stuck, and if we open it, it's gonna blow up. You know,
there should be some apparatus.
there should have been an explainer in there. It's like, dude, if this is stuck, that means it's triggered on, it's caught on something. If we open it up, it's gonna blow up.
The casing is damaged. If we move this, it's gonna blow up. But
no, they didn't do that. They just like, that's a movie.
I deserve answers.
This is basically
the best part of this movie to me was them jumping out of the plane, which was in that trailer that I saw. That was that whole trailer.
But even that scene wasn't all that great, because it was just, you see at least 50 guys jump out of a plane, and they're like up in the stratosphere.
It was filmed really cool. It was really cool.
It was daylight when they jumped, and it was dark when they landed. They were
because they're coming in the smoke of the city. But the difference was, in the trailer, they changed the effect. In the trailer, it's just Godzilla.
Uh-huh.
And the movie, it's Godzilla while fighting the other thing, which is cool in itself. But what I thought was going to happen, which I thought would have been awesome, and I actually thought of this years ago for a Godzilla movie, is people on top of Godzilla.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to attack him.
Dune style.
Yeah.
Dune style, riding the Godzilla like.
I thought these guys were jumping out of the plane and going to land on Godzilla to try to take him out.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I talked about. No, that's not what it was.
50 guys jumped. The main character.
They're going to look for a bomb.
The main character falls, and it honestly looks like he pulls his chute way too late.
5 seconds before
There's
lands.
base jumpers out there that jump off of buildings, and as soon as they jump, parachutes out. These guys get about halfway down a skyscraper. I don't know how many hundreds of feet that is, but he gets halfway, he pulls his chute, and just kind of glides and lands. And then that big epic scene could have been so much more, but no, it was just one guy. Well, they showed many guys falling, and then
Yeah, they only showed
One guy
one
lands, and
land.
then they're all convened, and they're like, "Oh, we just conveniently landed near each other. We just walked up. We lost 2 guys, but we're still in it to win it." This movie lacked in
imaginativity.
imagination. This was garbage. How great is it? Is there anything good to say about this movie?
That one scene was cool looking. Bryan Cranston was great.
It was
I
very
thought-
300-ish. It was dark and gritty, and I was like,
Yeah, no, 300 was fun to watch. It had a point to it. I said at the end of the movie, Godzilla, you think he's dead, and he wakes up, goes out to the ocean.
more news
Hey.
footage.
Yeah, half of it shown during on TVs of people watching the TV. I'm like,
Godzilla takes.
show me.
Godzilla finally.
He wakes up. Everyone thinks he's dead. He wakes up. And he
But
goes up
after
the
getting
ocean.
his ass handed to
They
him by
gotta
these 2
show
monsters, he finally gets the main monster. Like gets one hand in his mouth, one hand in the
that
jaw,
was kind of cool.
rips his mouth open, and gives him the reverse Heimlich maneuver. Like blows his plasma lightning down its throat, and it melts his throat. And head falls off, and Godzilla's just standing there with the head in his hand, and he just drops it in the ocean. He's like, "I'm too
And
old."
then he takes a
and
nap.
then he does, yeah. And then he goes, he takes a few steps, and he falls, and he does the Danny Glover thing. I'm getting too old for this shit. And everyone's like, "Oh no, Godzilla's dead. Darn." And then they show footage on a TV that the news camera's taking of him sleeping, and it says Godzilla, King of Monsters, Savior of City, question mark?
Savior of Earth.
Savior of
or
the city.
something. Or
Savior of
city.
the city.
And he
Question mark.
And then he wakes up.
And his eyes open, he's like, "Yeah, I gotta go home,
Oh,
peace
that's
out."
good.
And then
That's great heroin. Oh,
meth is a hell of a drug. And he gets up and he goes back to the ocean, but he steps on at least 30 cars on the way there. He's like, crunch.
200 people.
Yeah. In their vehicles, like they're trying to evacuate. They weren't abandoned, but he's like crunch, crunch. Goes in the ocean like a
And that's the
gold
thing that
medalist.
Amanda pointed out. Like when he stands up out of the ocean at Hawaii, it sucks all the water back.
And there's
It
dead
causes a
fish and they're
tsunami.
flopping around.
When he goes into the water at San Francisco, it's like doo doo doo.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He jumped in the water like a gold medalist, like a
Yeah.
gold medal winning diver. Like,
And
that was great dive. He took his feet just
Oh,
right.
did
And,
you see that?
that
That
was
was a
minimal
little
splash.
splash.
Minimal splash. Minimal splash.
Godzilla killed
Minimal
just
splash.
as many people as the 2 monsters combined.
But he was king of the monster and savior of the city. And
Those monsters.
and credits.
Yeah.
These monsters just wanted to live their lives.
They didn't kill.
They wanted to
people.
have babies.
Godzilla killed lots of people.
Godzilla killed.
Godzilla killed just as many people as Superman did in Man of Steel.
But he was restoring balance to the earth because no one ever really says, like, if these monsters are allowed to breed. And more than likely, yeah, but it seems like they were all just interested in nuclear waste. If those children that monster laid would have hatched, they would have went to every nuclear power plant, more than likely, sucked it all up, went to go find all the nuclear bombs and all the hidden silos all across the world.
All nuclear waste, bombs, everything would be
And then
gone
they would have
on the
been
earth.
hungry, and they're
And
like,
then-
"There's no more radiation. Let's go back down." Where
Yeah, they would burrow down and leave us alone.
Godzilla's
Let
like,
nature take its course.
Godzilla's
Yeah.
like, no.
Godzilla, back up. Just back up.
So Godzilla's trying to save the world from like all these crazy monsters, but where the fuck was he when Planet of the Apes was happening? When all those monkeys started
where's he at
like
with
killing
all-
people and like
With all the
jacking.
humans that are building the nuclear bombs, he's like, well, that's Superman in the quest for peace. Well, that's his thing.
Where was Godzilla when monkeys were taking over planet Earth?
Where was Godzilla when Captain Planet couldn't handle it? Where was Godzilla?
Where was he when the Marshmallow Man was taking over New York? The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters.
Crap, where was Godzilla when the Avengers needed him?
Where the fuck were you, Godzilla?
Where was Godzilla when aliens were versing predators?
Where was he when Mac and me was here and that little alien was just annoying everybody?
Where were you, Godzilla, when Coca-Cola released new Coke?
Where were you, Godzilla, when Pepsi decided to take clear Pepsi off the shelves? Where were you when Michael Bay was making Transformers movies?
Where were you when Michael Bay was still making Transformers movies?
Where was Godzilla when Macaulay Culkin got attacked by the bees?
Where was Godzilla when Macaulay Culkin got attacked by heroin?
Where were you when George W. Bush won the election?
Where were you when Abraham Lincoln got it from behind?
Whoa, not like that. Where was Godzilla when John Travolta was making Battlefield Earth?
Where was Godzilla when John Travolta was making Look Who's Talking Now?
I think Godzilla really needs to be there for the world's problems. If I sit down at a toilet and there's no toilet paper, I want Godzilla to be like dun 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 and come out of the ocean and just be like,
There's no balanced toilet paper.
just swipe off the roof of the building. And then like big old claws just come out. And they got the load.
Thanks, Godzilla.
Apparently I wipe like a girl. Front back.
Front back.
You don't want to get a back to front. Back, yeah. Front to back. I don't know which one gives girls bladder infections.
Back to front. Where was Godzilla when we needed to know that?